Welcome to the Andes Mountains. A seven-country spine of rock, ice and sky that reshaped South America. In a single day, you can move from warm valleys to glacial winds just by gaining altitude. This range holds active volcanoes, ancient engineering, and modern cities living under thin air. The Andes are not only a mountain chain, they are a living system where climate changes with elevation, not distance on the map. Terraces, highland routes, and mountain towns reveal how people adapted to extreme landscapes. From Patagonia's wild parks to Ecuador's snowy peaks, the scenery keeps changing without warning. Before we explore the hidden places, here is a quick question for you. Approximately how long is the Andes mountain range? Tell us your answer in the comments. If you enjoy journeys that feel real, detailed, and worth your time, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, but it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country or region should we explore next? Torres del Paine National Park, Chile. In southern Chilean Patagonia, Torres del Paine rises as one of the Andes' most dramatic protected landscapes. The park covers more than 240,000 hectares of rugged wilderness, shaped by glaciers and wind. Jagged granite towers dominate the skyline, standing above bright blue glacial lakes and vast open plains. Established as a national park in 1959, it later gained UNESCO Biosphere Reserve recognition. Strong winds often exceed 100 kilometers per hour, making preparation essential for every trekker. Weather can shift rapidly from sunshine to cold rain within a single afternoon. Grey Glacier stretches across the park, feeding icy waters into Lake Grey below. Visitors follow marked trails ranging from short walks to multi-day routes like the famous W Circuit. Wildlife sightings are common, including guanacos, foxes, and occasionally pumas in open valleys. Camping is the primary accommodation, with regulated refugios located along main trekking paths. Strict conservation rules protect fragile ecosystems from increasing tourism pressure. Despite its growing popularity, the park still feels remote and vast. Here, mountain, ice, and wind combine to create one of South America's most iconic natural environments. Perito Moreno Glacier, Argentina. In Argentina's Los Glaciares National Park, Perito Moreno Glacier stands as one of the Andes' most accessible ice giants. Stretching about 50 kilometers long and nearly 5 kilometers wide at its front, it towers around 60 meters above the water. The glacier descends from roughly 1,500 meters to just 200 meters above sea level, making close viewing possible. Its surface constantly creaks and cracks as massive ice walls shift and advance. Unlike many glaciers worldwide, Perito Moreno continues to move forward rather than retreat. A rare natural phenomenon occurs when the glacier forms an ice dam against the peninsula. Pressure builds behind the dam until it ruptures dramatically, sending ice crashing into the lake. Boardwalk platforms allow visitors to safely observe this powerful spectacle from multiple angles. Boat tours glide near the towering ice face, revealing deep blue crevasses and floating icebergs. Fed by the southern Patagonian ice field, the glacier plays a vital role in regional freshwater systems. Researchers closely monitor its behavior to better understand long-term climate patterns. Standing before this immense wall of ice reminds visitors that the Andes still shape the land in real time. Cotopaxi, Ecuador. Rising high above Ecuador's central Andes, Cotopaxi dominates the skyline with its nearly perfect cone. This snow-capped stratovolcano reaches 5,897 meters (19,347 feet), making it one of the world's highest active volcanoes. Located inside Cotopaxi National Park, it stands about 50 kilometers south of Quito. Its last significant eruption occurred in 2016, and it remains closely monitored by scientists. Despite its active status, guided climbs are permitted under strict safety regulations. The ascent demands preparation, as thin air, icy slopes, and strong winds test endurance. For non-climbers, the surrounding plains offer golden grasslands, wild horses, and clear mountain views. Glaciers cover the upper slopes, feeding streams that support local ecosystems below. The park's elevation changes quickly, shifting from alpine tundra to open Andean paramo. Visitors often pause at the José Rivas Refuge at about 4,864 meters (15,958 feet) before higher climbs. Cotopaxi has long held cultural importance for nearby communities living in its shadow. Standing on its slopes reveals how volcanoes continue shaping both the landscape and the rhythm of life in the Andes. Cerro Tronador, Argentina. On the border of Argentina and Chile, Cerro Tronador rises as a silent giant within the Patagonian Andes. This dormant stratovolcano reaches approximately 3,491 meters (11,453 feet) above sea level. Its name means thunderer, inspired by the booming sounds of falling glacier ice. Permanent snow and ancient ice fields cover much of its upper slopes year-round. The Ventisquero Negro Glacier stands out for its darker appearance caused by volcanic sediments. Located inside Nahuel Huapi National Park, the mountain overlooks dense forests and turquoise lakes. Hiking routes lead through lenga forests, alpine meadows, and rocky terrain shaped by past eruptions. Mountaineers attempt technical ascents during stable weather windows in the summer months. The surrounding valleys host small mountain refuges that support trekkers and climbers. Wildlife such as Andean condors and red foxes inhabit the protected landscape. Nearby Bariloche serves as a gateway town, with tourism playing a key economic role. Cerro Tronador combines glacial beauty, volcanic history, and raw Patagonian wilderness in one commanding peak. Lagunas de Alto Peru. Peru High in southern Peru near the border with Bolivia, Lagunas de Alto Peru forms a vast network of alpine lakes. More than 300 lakes are scattered across high plains at elevations above 4,000 meters (13,123 feet). These waters are sustained by glacial melt and seasonal rainfall flowing from surrounding Andean peaks. The landscape appears remote and largely untouched by modern development. Cold winds sweep across open grasslands where native wildlife survives in harsh conditions. Local indigenous communities consider the lakes culturally important within traditional Andean beliefs. The wetlands play a crucial role in regulating water flow for downstream villages and ecosystems. Clear skies and thin air create sharp reflections of mountains on turquoise and deep blue surfaces. Hiking here requires acclimatization due to high altitude and rapid weather changes. Environmental groups have raised concerns about mining and long-term climate impacts in the region. Conservation efforts now focus on sustainable tourism and ecosystem protection. Lagunas de Alto Peru stands as a quiet symbol of resilience, water security, and high-altitude harmony in the Andes. COLCA Canyon, Peru. In southern Peru, COLCA Canyon cuts deep into the Andes with dramatic scale and rugged beauty. Often cited among the deepest canyons on Earth, some sections drop over 3,000 meters (9,843 feet). The canyon lies about 160 kilometers northwest of Arequipa, shaped by millions of years of river erosion. Steep cliffs plunge toward the Colca River, which winds through the valley floor below. Ancient agricultural terraces line the slopes, reflecting early Andean farming techniques. Small villages preserve traditional dress, music, and highland lifestyles adapted to altitude. One of the canyon's most famous sights is the Andean condor gliding on rising thermals. Viewpoints such as Cruz del Condor offer panoramic scenes of cliffs and distant peaks. Sunrise and sunset transform the canyon with shifting light and deep shadows. trekkers descend narrow paths toward oasis settlements located along the river. The thin air and strong sun demand preparation and steady pacing. COLCA Canyon combines geological scale, living culture, and powerful natural presence in one unforgettable Andean landscape. CAYAMBE COCA National Park, Ecuador. In northern Ecuador, CAYAMBE COCA National Park stretches across diverse Andean landscapes. The park spans cloud forests, high-altitude paramo grasslands, and glacial slopes. Snow-capped CAYAMBE volcano rises to 5,790 meters (18,996 feet) within the protected area. It is one of the few peaks on Earth crossed by the equator while still holding glaciers. Waterfalls cascade through dense forest valleys fed by constant rainfall and melting ice. Natural thermal springs emerge from geothermal activity beneath the volcanic terrain. Visitors relax in mineral-rich hot pools after trekking through cool mountain air. Marked trails connect wetlands, rivers, and alpine meadows shaped by ancient eruptions. The park plays a vital role in supplying fresh water to nearby communities. Wildlife includes spectacled bears, mountain tapirs, and a wide range of highland birds. Rapid weather changes are common, shifting from mist to sunlight within hours. CAYAMBE COCA National Park brings together glaciers, waterfalls, and volcanic energy in one powerful Andean setting. The 7 lakes of Mount Ausangate, Peru. High in the Peruvian Andes, the 7 lakes of Mount Ausangate shimmer beneath snow-capped peaks. Located near Cusco, these alpine lakes sit at elevations above 4,200 meters (13,779 feet). Each lake displays distinct colors ranging from deep blue to turquoise and emerald green. The vibrant tones come from mineral-rich glacial waters carrying fine suspended particles. Mount Ausangate rises to 6,384 meters (20,945 feet), dominating the surrounding highland landscape. The region forms part of the Ausengate Circuit, a demanding multi-day trekking route. Hikers cross alpine meadows, glacial valleys, and small Andean villages along the trail. Local communities continue traditional herding of alpacas and llamas in these high plains. Thin air and rapid weather shifts require proper acclimatization and preparation. The remote location keeps the lakes peaceful compared to more visited sites near Cusco. Sunlight reflecting off snow and water creates sharp contrasts across the plateau. The 7 lakes of Mount Ausengate reveal the raw elevation, color, and cultural depth of the central Andes. Huancayo Waterfalls, Peru. In central Peru's Noryauyos Landscape Reserve, Huancayo waterfalls cascade through a narrow Andean valley. The falls form part of the Cañete River, which flows between layered limestone cliffs. Turquoise waters spill over natural terraces, creating a series of bright blue pools. The color comes from mineral-rich currents reflecting sunlight against pale rock. Located at around 3,500 meters / 11,483 feet, the air here feels crisp and cool year-round. Wooden bridges and stone paths allow visitors to walk alongside the cascading water. The surrounding valley supports small farming communities and traditional rural lifestyles. Local trout dishes are common in nearby villages, reflecting the river's freshwater supply. Wildflowers and highland grasses add contrast to the white limestone formations. Birds circle above the valley, while the constant sound of rushing water fills the air. The reserve enforces conservation rules to protect fragile ecosystems and water sources. Huancayo waterfalls combine vibrant color, layered geology, and peaceful Andean scenery in one unforgettable setting. Lago Argentino, Argentina. In southern Patagonia, Lago Argentino spreads wide beneath the towering Andes of Argentina. It is the country's largest freshwater lake, covering about 1,415 square kilometers / 546 square miles. The lake lies within Los Glaciares National Park, a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its striking milky blue color comes from glacial minerals suspended in the water. These fine particles reflect light, giving the surface a soft turquoise glow. Several massive glaciers feed the lake, including the famous Perito Moreno Glacier. Towering ice walls carve into the water, sending floating icebergs drifting slowly across the surface. The surrounding landscape blends snow-capped peaks, wind-swept plains, and open skies. Condors, flamingos, and Andean deer inhabit the wider Patagonian ecosystem. Boat excursions allow visitors to approach glaciers and witness the scale of the ice fields. Winter temperatures can freeze parts of the shoreline, reshaping the scenery. Nearby El Calafate serves as the main gateway town, with tourism supporting the local economy. Strong winds frequently sweep across the lake, reminding visitors of Patagonia's raw climate. Lago Argentino stands as both a scenic marvel and a crucial freshwater reserve shaped by ancient glaciers. Pilón del Diablo, Ecuador. Near the town of Baños in central Ecuador, Pilón del Diablo crashes through a deep jungle canyon. Also known as Devil's Cauldron, the waterfall plunges into a swirling rock basin below. The cascade drops with force, creating mist, thunderous sound, and constant spray. Located at about 1,820 meters/5,971 feet above sea level, it lies within lush Andean cloud forest. Stone staircases and suspension bridges guide visitors close to the roaring water. Narrow rock tunnels allow adventurous hikers to reach viewpoints just meters from the falls. The surrounding forest supports tropical plants, butterflies, and colorful bird species. Heavy rainfall often increases the water volume, intensifying the dramatic flow. Local tourism businesses in Baños depend heavily on visitors exploring this waterfall route. safety measures and railings are installed along paths due to slippery conditions. Photographers capture the contrast between white spray and deep green canyon walls. Even during misty weather, the waterfall remains powerful and visually striking. Pilón del Diablo reflects the raw energy of water descending from the Andes toward the Amazon basin. Atacama Desert, Chile. In northern Chile, the Atacama Desert stretches between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific coast. Often cited as the driest non-polar desert on Earth, some areas receive almost no rainfall. Certain regions have recorded no significant precipitation for decades, creating extreme arid conditions. Despite this dryness, more than 500 plant species survive in adapted forms. Ancient cushion plants, some estimated over 3,000 years old, grow slowly across rocky terrain. Salt flats shimmer under intense sunlight, reflecting distant volcanic peaks. Flamingos gather in mineral-rich lagoons scattered across the desert basin. The clear atmosphere attracts astronomers, and several major observatories operate nearby. The desert's terrain has even been used to test planetary exploration equipment. Temperatures shift sharply between hot days and cold nights due to low humidity. Small towns like San Pedro de Atacama serve as gateways for visitors. Tourism supports local communities through guided tours, desert trekking, and stargazing experiences. The Atacama Desert reveals how life endures in one of the harshest yet most visually striking landscapes in the Andes. Quilotoa, Ecuador. High in the Ecuadorian Andes, Quilotoa forms a striking volcanic crater lake. It was created when a massive eruption collapsed the volcano centuries ago. The resulting caldera gradually filled with mineral-rich water. Today, the lake spans about 3 kilometers/1.9 miles in diameter and reaches nearly 250 meters/820 feet deep. Its surface shifts between turquoise and deep green depending on sunlight and weather. The vivid color comes from dissolved minerals and volcanic gases beneath the water. Cold mountain winds sweep across the crater at an altitude of roughly 3,914 meters / 12,841 feet. Steep crater walls surround the lake, creating a dramatic enclosed landscape. Hiking trails descend to the shoreline, though the climb back up is demanding. Local communities nearby maintain traditional highland farming and handicrafts. The region forms part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, reflecting ongoing geological activity. Occasional gas bubbles on the lake's surface remind visitors that volcanic forces still exist below. Quilotoa stands as a powerful example of how eruption, collapse, and time shaped the Andes. General Carrera Lake, Chile. In Chilean Patagonia, General Carrera Lake stretches across a vast glacial basin in the Andes. Shared with Argentina, where it is called Lake Buenos Aires, it covers about 1,850 square kilometers / 714 square miles. It is one of the largest freshwater lakes in South America. The lake's striking turquoise color comes from fine glacial sediments suspended in the water. These minerals reflect sunlight, creating shifting shades of blue throughout the day. Nearby, the famous marble caves display smooth rock formations carved by waves over thousands of years. Cool winds sweep across the open water, often producing clear skies and sharp reflections. Kayaking allows visitors to explore hidden caves and sculpted stone arches up close. Fishing and small boat tours support local communities along the shoreline. The surrounding landscape blends snow-capped peaks, rugged cliffs, and wide Patagonian plains. Winter temperatures can partially freeze sections near the shore, altering the scenery. The lake plays an important role in regional ecosystems and freshwater systems. General Carrera Lake captures the vast scale, glacial history, and quiet power of the southern Andes. El Yeso Reservoir, Chile. High in the Chilean Andes, El Yeso Reservoir rests among rugged mountain ridges east of Santiago. Formed by damming the Yeso River, it serves as a vital freshwater source for the capital. The reservoir sits at about 2,500 meters / 8,202 feet above sea level. Its deep turquoise waters contrast sharply with surrounding rocky slopes and snow-capped peaks. Glacial melt from nearby mountains feeds the basin throughout the year. Cold temperatures shape the landscape, with winter snow covering much of the surrounding terrain. The area supports limited vegetation adapted to high-altitude conditions. Visitors often drive along winding mountain roads to reach scenic viewpoints overlooking the lake. Camping and photography are popular activities due to the dramatic Andean backdrop. Strict environmental regulations help protect water quality and fragile ecosystems. Despite its engineered origin, the reservoir blends naturally into the mountain environment. El Yeso Reservoir represents both human planning and the powerful presence of the Andes. Nahuel Huapi, Argentina. In northern Patagonia, Nahuel Huapi stretches across a glacial basin within the Andes of Argentina, covering over 530 square kilometers / 205 square miles. It is one of the country's largest freshwater lakes. Formed by ancient glaciers, its clear waters reflect surrounding snow-capped peaks. The lake lies inside Nahuel Huapi National Park, established in 1934 as Argentina's first national park. Dense Patagonian forests of lenga and cypress line much of its shoreline. Wildlife such as red deer, foxes, and Andean condors inhabit the protected landscape. The lake's name comes from indigenous language meaning "Island of the Jaguar." Small towns like San Carlos de Bariloche developed along its banks, relying heavily on tourism. Boating, kayaking and hiking are common ways to explore its wide bays and hidden coves. Weather shifts quickly, bringing sun, mist, and sudden winds across the water. Winter snow transforms nearby mountains into ski destinations. In summer, the lake's calm surface attracts anglers and photographers alike. Nahuel Huapi blends glacial history, biodiversity and mountain scenery into one defining Andean panorama. Chimborazo, Ecuador. Rising above central Ecuador, Chimborazo stands as the country's highest mountain. This dormant stratovolcano reaches 6,263 meters (20,548 feet) above sea level. Due to Earth's equatorial bulge, its summit is the point farthest from the planet's center. Glaciers cover its upper slopes, shaping valleys carved over thousands of years. Despite being dormant, its volcanic origins define the surrounding Andean terrain. The mountain lies within Chimborazo Wildlife Reserve, protecting high-altitude ecosystems. Thin air and unpredictable weather make climbing a serious challenge for experienced mountaineers. Most ascents begin from refuges located at around 4,800 meters (15,748 feet). Below the glaciers, Andean grasslands support vicuñas and other hardy wildlife. Local communities have long regarded Chimborazo as culturally significant within highland traditions. Scientists study its glaciers to understand long-term climate patterns in the Andes. On clear days, the summit offers sweeping views across Ecuador's volcanic corridor. Chimborazo combines geological scale, scientific curiosity, and cultural depth in one commanding Andean peak. Pasochoa Volcano, Ecuador. South of Quito, Pasochoa rises quietly within Ecuador's highland landscape. This extinct volcano reaches about 4,200 meters (13,780 feet) above sea level. Unlike active neighbors, its crater collapsed long ago, forming a broad forested basin. The slopes are covered with Andean cloud forest and native high-altitude vegetation. More than 100 bird species live here, including hawks and Andean condors. Well-marked trails lead hikers through dense greenery and volcanic rock formations. The ascent is steady but manageable, making it popular for acclimatization hikes. From the summit ridge, visitors can see Cotopaxi and other snow-capped peaks on clear days. The volcanic soil supports diverse plant life adapted to cool mountain conditions. Local communities use nearby lands for small-scale farming and ecotourism activities. Because it lies inside a protected reserve, conservation rules help preserve fragile ecosystems. Morning mist often moves through the forest, creating shifting light across the crater rim. Pasachoa offers calm landscapes rather than dramatic eruptions. It stands as a reminder that even silent volcanoes shaped the Andes over millions of years. Palcoyo Rainbow Mountain, Peru. High in the Cusco region, Palcoyo reveals colorful mineral bands across quiet Andean slopes. Located at about 4,900 meters (16,076 feet), it rises above wide alpine plains. Unlike the more crowded Vinicunca, Palcoyo offers multiple striped ridges in one area. The vibrant reds, yellows, and greens formed from layered mineral deposits over millions of years. Tectonic uplift exposed these layers as the Andes continued rising. Thin air and cool winds shape the high-altitude environment. The hike here is shorter and less steep than other rainbow mountains nearby. Stone paths guide visitors across rolling terrain with broad mountain views. Local communities manage tourism carefully, offering guided walks and cultural insights. Traditional herding of alpacas and llamas remains part of daily life. Snow-dusted peaks in the distance add contrast to the colorful hills. Clear mornings provide the best light to see the natural stripes clearly. Palcoyo presents geology in vivid detail without extreme physical demands. It stands as a quieter, accessible example of the Andes' mineral-rich history. Sacsayhuaman, Peru. Overlooking the city of Cusco, Sacsayhuaman stands as a monumental Inca complex in the Andes. Located about 2 kilometers/1.2 miles from Cusco's center, it rises at roughly 3,700 meters/12,139 feet. Built in the 15th century, it functioned as both a ceremonial and strategic site. Its most striking feature is the massive zigzag stone walls. Some stones weigh over 100 tons and were fitted together without mortar. The precision of the dry stone technique makes the structure highly earthquake resistant. The layout is believed to symbolize the head of a puma, an important Inca motif. From the terraces, visitors see sweeping views across Cusco and surrounding valleys. The site reflects advanced engineering, logistics, and urban planning of the Inca civilization. Spanish forces partially dismantled parts of the complex in the 16th century. Despite this, much of the original stonework remains intact today. Annual cultural festivals still take place here, linking past traditions with modern Peru. Sacsayhuaman stands as a powerful reminder of the scale and sophistication of Andean history. Humante Lake, Peru. High in the Peruvian Andes, Humante Lake glows beneath towering snow-capped peaks. It sits at approximately 4,200 meters/13,779 feet above sea level near the Salcantay Range. The lake forms from glacial melt flowing down Humante Mountain. Fine mineral particles remain suspended in the water, creating its bright turquoise color. Sunlight and shifting clouds cause the surface to change shades throughout the day. The surrounding terrain is rugged, with rocky slopes and sparse alpine vegetation. Thin air and steep trails make the hike physically demanding. Most visitors begin the trek from Sorai Pampa, gradually ascending across highland plains. Pack horses often assist travelers carrying supplies along the route. Despite growing popularity, the lake retains a quiet, remote atmosphere. Local communities manage access through guided tours and conservation fees. Traditional Andean farming and herding continue in nearby valleys. Cold winds sweep across the basin, adding to the raw mountain feeling. Snow from the surrounding peaks reflects clearly on calm mornings. Humantay Lake combines glacier, altitude, and silence in one striking landscape. It stands as a vivid example of how ice and elevation define the Andes. Machu Picchu, Peru. Perched high above the Urubamba Valley, Machu Picchu crowns a dramatic Andean ridge. The site stands at about 2,430 meters/7,972 feet above sea level. It was built in the mid-15th century during the reign of Emperor Pachacuti. Historians debate whether it served as a royal estate or ceremonial center. Terraces carved into steep slopes stabilized the mountain and supported agriculture. The Incas used a precise dry stone technique, fitting stones without mortar. This engineering allowed structures to withstand earthquakes for centuries. Urban sectors include plazas, residences, and finely crafted stone temples. The Intihuatana stone is often cited as an astronomical or ceremonial feature. Dense cloud forest surrounds the complex, blending architecture with nature. Spanish conquerors never documented the site, which helped preserve it. Explorer Hiram Bingham brought international attention to Machu Picchu in 1911. Today, it holds UNESCO World Heritage status and attracts global visitors. Machu Picchu represents a powerful link between Andean geography and Inca ingenuity. Vinicunca, Rainbow Mountain, Peru. High in the Peruvian Andes, Vinicunca reveals striking bands of natural color. Often called Rainbow Mountain, it rises to about 5,200 meters / 17,060 feet above sea level. Its red, yellow and green layers formed from mineral-rich sediments over millions of years. Tectonic uplift and long-term erosion exposed these colorful strata. For centuries, the mountain remained covered by snow and ice. Around 2015, melting glaciers revealed its vivid surface to wider attention. The high-altitude hike is challenging due to thin air and steep terrain. Cold winds sweep across open plains where alpacas graze quietly. Most treks begin near Cusco, with early departures to avoid afternoon weather shifts. Local communities manage tourism, providing horses and guided support services. Clear skies offer sweeping views of surrounding Andean peaks and valleys. The colors appear most intense under direct sunlight. Vinicunca combines geology, altitude, and raw landscape in one dramatic scene. It stands as a powerful reminder of how the Andes continue to evolve over time. Moré, Peru. In Peru's Sacred Valley, Moré displays a remarkable system of circular agricultural terraces. Located about 50 kilometers/31 miles northwest of Cusco, it sits at roughly 3,500 meters/11,483 feet. The site features several concentric depressions carved deep into the Andean plateau. The largest terrace complex reaches nearly 30 meters/98 feet in depth. Each level creates a slightly different microclimate due to changes in temperature and sunlight. Scholars believe the Incas used Moré as an agricultural laboratory. Different crops were tested here to adapt them to various altitudes across the empire. Stone retaining walls stabilize the terraces and manage water flow efficiently. Channels carried irrigation water carefully between each circular layer. The design reflects advanced knowledge of climate, soil, and engineering. Unlike fortress sites, Moré highlights the scientific side of Inca civilization. The surrounding highland landscape remains quiet, with broad views of the valley. Local farmers continue cultivating nearby lands using traditional techniques. Moré stands as a powerful example of how innovation shaped life in the Andes. Tungurahua Volcano, Ecuador. Rising above central Ecuador, Tungurahua dominates the skyline near the town of Baños. This active stratovolcano reaches about 5,023 meters (16,480 feet) above sea level. Its name means "throat of fire" in the local indigenous language. Documented eruptions date back to the 16th century, with major activity in recent decades. Ash clouds and lava flows have periodically affected nearby communities. Scientists closely monitor the volcano using seismic instruments and satellite data. Despite the risks, the surrounding soil remains fertile due to volcanic deposits. Hot springs in the region result from geothermal activity beneath the surface. Clear nights sometimes reveal glowing lava from safe observation points. The volcano stands within Sangay National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cloud forests and Andean highlands surround its steep slopes. Hiking routes and guided climbs are available when conditions are stable. Local residents balance respect for nature with adaptation to volcanic life. Tungurahua represents both the power and unpredictability of the Andes. CERRO Cathedral, Argentina. In northern Patagonia, CERRO Cathedral rises above Nahuel Huapi National Park. The mountain reaches about 2,388 meters (7,835 feet) above sea level. Its name comes from sharp granite spires resembling cathedral towers. Located near San Carlos de Bariloche, it is Argentina's most famous ski destination. During winter, snow covers its slopes, attracting skiers and snowboarders from across South America. Modern lifts and marked runs support beginners and experienced athletes alike. In summer, the landscape transforms into hiking terrain with alpine lakes and rocky ridges. Mountain refugees along the trails offer shelter and simple meals for trekkers. Weather shifts quickly, bringing strong winds and sudden fog. The granite walls also attract climbers seeking technical routes. Surrounding forests of lenga and coihu trees support diverse wildlife. Clear days reveal panoramic views over lakes, valleys, and distant Andean peaks. CERRO Cathedral blends adventure, geology, and tourism in one dynamic Andean setting. Titicaca Lake, Peru, stretching across the Peru-Bolivia border. Titicaca Lake rests high in the Andean plateau. On the Peruvian side, it lies at about 3,812 meters (12,507 feet) above sea level. It is often cited as the world's highest navigable lake of its size, covering roughly 8,372 square kilometers (3,232 square miles). It is South America's largest freshwater lake by volume. Snow-capped peaks and wide blue skies frame its calm waters. The lake supports fishing communities that rely on traditional reed boats. Floating islands made from totora reeds are carefully maintained by local families. These islands require constant renewal as water slowly weakens the base layers. Small villages along the shoreline preserve weaving, music, and agricultural traditions. Terraced hillsides nearby show how ancient societies adapted to high-altitude farming. Cold winds sweep across the open water, especially during dry season afternoons. Clear mornings provide sharp reflections of distant mountains. The lake plays a vital role in regional ecosystems and freshwater supply. Migratory birds, including flamingos, gather in shallow wetlands. Titicaca Lake combines altitude, history, and living culture in one vast Andean landscape. Lake Perón, Peru. In northern Peru, Lake Perón rests within the dramatic Cordillera Blanca range. It lies at about 4,185 meters (13,730 feet) above sea level. Surrounded by sharp granite peaks, it is the largest lake in the Cordillera Blanca. Its turquoise color comes from fine glacial sediments suspended in the water. Nearby mountains include Arteson Raju, rising to 6,025 meters (19,767 feet). Glaciers above the basin slowly feed the lake through meltwater streams. The setting feels remote, with rocky slopes and sparse alpine vegetation. Hikers and photographers visit for wide views and high-altitude trekking routes. Kayaking is sometimes permitted when conditions are calm and regulated. The lake also serves as a managed water reservoir for downstream communities. Cold winds move quickly through the valley, shifting weather within minutes. Clear days reveal sharp reflections of snow-capped summits on the lake's surface. Lake Paron highlights the link between glacier, water supply, and Andean life. It stands as a striking example of Peru's high mountain landscapes. Cumbayamayo, Peru. High above Cajamarca, Cumbayamayo stretches across windswept Andean plains. The site sits at about 3,500 meters / 11,483 feet above sea level. It is known for its ancient stone aqueduct carved directly into volcanic rock. Archaeologists date parts of the channel to around 1500 BCE. The aqueduct carried water from higher slopes toward agricultural zones. Its precision suggests advanced hydraulic knowledge long before the Inca period. Surrounding the canal, tall rock formations create a natural stone forest landscape. Wind and erosion shaped these pillars into unusual figures over thousands of years. Petroglyphs carved into nearby rocks reflect early symbolic and ritual traditions. The region once supported early highland communities dependent on seasonal rainfall. Hiking trails lead visitors through open grasslands and narrow stone passages. Cool mountain air and wide skies give the area a quiet atmosphere. Cumbayamayo highlights how early Andean societies mastered water management. It stands as one of Peru's most important pre-Inca engineering achievements. Purmamarca, Argentina. In northwest Argentina, Purmamarca rests at the base of colorful Andean hills. The town sits at about 2,324 meters (7,625 feet) above sea level in Jujuy province. Its name comes from indigenous language, often translated as Town of the Virgin Land. Nearby rises the famous Hill of Seven Colors, showing layered mineral bands. These red, pink, and ochre tones formed through millions of years of sedimentation and uplift. Purmamarca developed as a small settlement during pre-Columbian times. Spanish colonists officially founded the town in 1594 along regional trade routes. The layout remains compact, with adobe houses and narrow streets. Local markets display hand-woven textiles, pottery, and regional crafts. Agriculture and small-scale tourism support much of the local economy. Clear mornings reveal sharp contrasts between blue skies and striped mountains. The surrounding Quebrada de Humahuaca Valley holds UNESCO World Heritage status. Traditional music and seasonal festivals reflect enduring highland culture. Purmamarca blends geology, history, and daily Andean life in one vivid landscape. Ojos del Salado, Chile. On the Chile-Argentina border, Ojos del Salado rises above the arid Andes. It reaches about 6,893 meters (22,615 feet), making it the world's highest volcano. Located within the Atacama region, it stands among some of Earth's driest landscapes. Although classified as active, its last significant eruption occurred roughly 1,500 years ago. Near the summit, climbers observe sulfur vents and geothermal activity. The name translates to "eyes of salt," referring to nearby saline springs. At around 6,400 meters (20,997 feet), a small crater lake ranks among the highest on Earth. Thin air and extreme dryness make ascents physically demanding. Snowfall is limited due to the desert climate, unlike wetter Andean peaks. Expeditions often use high-altitude camps to adjust gradually. The surrounding terrain features volcanic rock, salt flats, and wide open plateaus. Clear skies and minimal light pollution attract scientific observation teams. Ojos del Salado combines altitude, isolation, and geological power in one dramatic summit. Cafayate, Argentina. In northwest Argentina, Cafayate lies within the Calchaquí valleys of the Andes. The town stands at about 1,683 meters (5,522 feet) above sea level. It is surrounded by dramatic red rock formations shaped by wind and erosion. Nearby, the Quebrada de las Conchas displays layered cliffs in red and white tones. Cafayate is widely known for producing torrontés, a distinctive white grape variety. Warm days and cool nights create ideal conditions for high-altitude vineyards. Local wineries offer guided tours explaining cultivation and fermentation processes. Agriculture and wine tourism support much of the town's economy. Colonial-era buildings line the central plaza, reflecting 19th century development. Traditional music and regional festivals highlight Andean cultural heritage. Clear skies and dry air enhance the vivid contrast of desert and mountain scenery. Roads through the valley reveal unusual rock formations carved over millions of years. Small artisan markets display handmade crafts and regional products. Cafayate blends geology, agriculture, and highland culture in one distinctive Andean setting. Sacred Valley, Peru. In the Peruvian Andes, the Sacred Valley follows the course of the Urubamba River. It lies between Cusco and Machu Picchu at elevations around 2,800 meters (9,186 feet). The valley's fertile soil supported agriculture for centuries before Inca expansion. Terraced hillsides still display advanced engineering designed to manage steep terrain. Snow-capped peaks surround the valley, creating a protected and productive basin. Towns such as Pisac and Ollantaytambo preserve stone streets and traditional markets. Local farmers continue cultivating corn, potatoes, and quinoa using ancestral methods. The mild climate makes the valley ideal for acclimatization before higher treks. Archaeological sites reveal ceremonial platforms, storehouses, and irrigation channels. Hand-woven textiles and vibrant markets reflect enduring Andean craftsmanship. Rivers and streams provide water for agriculture and nearby communities. Clear mornings reveal layered mountains stretching across the horizon. Tourism supports local livelihoods, while conservation efforts protect heritage sites. The Sacred Valley unites landscape, engineering, and living culture in one continuous Andean corridor. Ollantaytambo, Peru. In the Sacred Valley of Peru, Ollantaytambo rises between steep Andean slopes. The town sits at about 2,792 meters / 9,160 feet above sea level. It is one of the best preserved examples of Inca urban planning. Massive stone terraces climb the hillside above the village. The fortress complex was built in the 15th century under Emperor Pachacuti. Large monoliths were transported from distant quarries across the valley. The site played a strategic role during resistance against Spanish forces in the 16th century. Narrow cobbled streets still follow the original Inca layout. Water channels carved in stone continue to carry fresh mountain water. The surrounding valley supports agriculture through ancient irrigation systems. From the upper terraces, visitors see sweeping views of green fields and rugged peaks. The town also serves as a gateway to Machu Picchu via rail connection. Local markets offer textiles and crafts reflecting traditional Andean artistry. Ollantaytambo stands as a living town where daily life continues among Inca stone walls. El Tatio Geysers, Chile. High in northern Chile, El Tatio lies within the Andean Altiplano. The geothermal field sits at about 4,320 meters / 14,173 feet above sea level. It is one of the highest geyser fields on Earth. More than 80 active geysers and numerous steam vents fill the valley. At sunrise, cold air makes rising steam columns especially dramatic. Boiling water and mineral deposits shape the ground into colorful formations. The area is part of a broader volcanic zone linked to the Andes. Scientists study El Tatio to understand geothermal systems and early Earth conditions. Thin air and freezing mornings require careful preparation for visitors. Marked paths help protect fragile ground and prevent accidents. Nearby hot springs allow controlled bathing in mineral-rich waters. Wild vicuñas and flamingos inhabit surrounding wetlands. Clear skies and remote terrain enhance the sense of isolation. El Tatio demonstrates how underground heat continues shaping the Andean landscape. Laguna del Inca, Chile. High in the Chilean Andes, Laguna del Inca rests beneath snow-covered peaks. The lake sits at about 2,840 meters / 9,318 feet above sea level near Portillo. Its deep blue and emerald tones shift with light and weather. Glacial meltwater feeds the basin throughout the year. Steep mountain slopes surround the lake, creating a dramatic enclosed setting. The nearby Portillo ski resort attracts winter sports visitors from across South America. In summer, hikers explore alpine trails overlooking the water. Cold winds move quickly through the high mountain pass. The lake forms part of the Andes watershed system. Clear mornings provide sharp reflections of peaks mirrored on the surface. Local legend connects the lake's name to Inca history in the region. The area remains important for tourism and cross-border travel routes. Laguna del Inca blends alpine scenery, history, and high-altitude climate in one striking Andean landscape. Villarrica Volcano, Chile. Rising above southern Chile, Villarrica Volcano dominates the landscape near Pucón. This active stratovolcano reaches about 2,847 meters / 9,341 feet above sea level. It is one of South America's most active volcanoes. Historical eruptions have been recorded since the 16th century. Its near-perfect cone shape stands out against surrounding forests and lakes. A persistent lava lake often glows inside the summit crater. Snow and glaciers cover the upper slopes during much of the year. Climbers ascend with certified guides due to changing volcanic conditions. The surrounding national park protects forests, rivers, and wildlife habitats. Volcanic soil enriches nearby farmland and supports dense vegetation. In winter, parts of the mountain operate as a ski area. Clear days offer wide views across Lake Villarrica and distant Andean peaks. Monitoring stations track seismic and gas activity constantly. Villarrica volcano reflects the dynamic geological forces shaping the Andes. Los Glaciares National Park, Argentina. In southern Patagonia, Los Glaciares National Park protects one of the Andes' most dramatic ice landscapes. The park covers about 7,269 square kilometers / 2,806 square miles in Santa Cruz province. It was established in 1937 and later designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981. Massive glaciers descend from the southern Patagonian icefield, the third largest ice mass outside Antarctica and Greenland. Among them, Perito Moreno Glacier stands out for its advancing front. Ice walls rise nearly 60 meters / 197 feet above the waterline. The constant cracking and carving of ice create powerful natural sounds. Mount Fitzroy and Cerro Torre rise sharply above surrounding valleys. Glacial lakes such as Lago Argentino reflect snow-capped peaks and open skies. The park supports wildlife including guanacos, condors, and Andean deer. Marked trails and refuges allow multi-day trekking across rugged terrain. Weather shifts quickly, bringing wind, sun, and sudden rain within hours. Researchers study the glaciers to understand long-term climate patterns. Los Glaciares National Park captures the scale, silence, and power of the southern Andes. Fitzroy, Argentina. On the border of Argentina and Chile, Fitzroy rises sharply above Patagonia. The peak reaches about 3,405 meters / 11,171 feet above sea level. It stands near the village of El Chalten within Los Glaciares National Park. Indigenous communities called it Chalten, meaning smoking mountain, due to cloud formations. In 1877, explorer Francisco Moreno renamed it Fitzroy after Captain Robert Fitzroy. Its steep granite faces attract experienced climbers from around the world. Rapid weather changes make summits rare and technically demanding. Glaciers and alpine lakes surround the base of the mountain. Laguna de los Tres offers one of the most iconic viewpoints. Strong winds and cold temperatures shape the rugged terrain. Hiking trails from El Chalten provide access to multiple scenic routes. The area supports hardy wildlife adapted to high-altitude conditions. Clear mornings reveal sharp reflections of spires against open skies. Fitzroy stands as one of the most recognizable silhouettes in the Andes. Lake Lanquihue, Chile. In southern Chile, Lake Lanquihue spreads across the foothills of the Andes. Covering about 871 square kilometers / 336 square miles, it is the second largest lake in Chile. The lake formed from ancient glacial activity during the last ice age. Snow-capped volcanoes, such as Osorno, rise dramatically along its shoreline. Osorno reaches about 2,652 meters / 8,701 feet above sea level. Fine glacial sediments give the water a deep blue tone on clear days. Small towns like Puerto Varas developed along its western edge. German architectural influence remains visible in wooden houses and lakeside buildings. Fishing, kayaking, and sailing support local tourism and livelihoods. Cool, rainy weather keeps surrounding forests lush and green. Volcanic soil enriches nearby farmland and dairy production. Clear mornings provide mirror-like reflections of volcanoes on the lake's surface. Strong winds can move quickly across the open water. Lake Lanquihu blends glaciers, volcanoes, and highland culture in one striking Andean setting. Volcán Osorno, Chile. In southern Chile, Volcán Osorno rises above the shores of Lake Lanquihu. The volcano reaches about 2,652 meters / 8,701 feet above sea level. Its near-perfect conical shape often draws comparisons to Mount Fuji. Osorno lies within Vicente Pérez Rosales National Park in the Andes. Although classified as active, its last major eruption occurred in 1869. Snow covers the upper slopes through much of the year. Volcanic activity in the past shaped nearby valleys and lake basins. Dense temperate forests blanket the lower elevations. Wildlife such as foxes and native birds inhabit the surrounding park. A mountain road leads partway up to a ski center and viewpoints. In winter, skiing and snowboarding attract visitors from across Chile. During summer, hiking trails reveal panoramic views of lakes and distant peaks. Clear days may even offer glimpses of the Pacific Ocean. Volcán Osorno stands as one of the most iconic silhouettes in Chile's Andean Lake District. Ranco Lake, Chile. In southern Chile, Ranco Lake lies within the Andean foothills of the Los Rios region. Covering about 410 square kilometers / 158 square miles, it ranks among Chile's largest lakes. The lake formed from glacial retreat during the last ice age. Forested hills and gentle slopes surround its broad, irregular shoreline. Several small islands rise from its calm freshwater surface. The region experiences a temperate, rainy climate throughout much of the year. Heavy rainfall keeps nearby forests dense and agriculturally productive. Fishing and small-scale farming support many local communities. Kayaking and boating are common during calm summer months. Snow occasionally dusts surrounding peaks in winter. Volcanic and glacial forces shaped the wider landscape over thousands of years. Clear mornings reveal layered mountains mirrored across the water. The lake plays a key role in regional freshwater systems. Ranco Lake offers a quieter Andean setting defined by forests, water, and open skies. El Calafate, Argentina. In southern Patagonia, El Calafate sits near the southern shore of Lago Argentino. The town lies at about 200 meters (656 feet) above sea level in Santa Cruz province. It serves as the main gateway to Los Glaciares National Park. Founded officially in 1927, it first supported wool traders crossing the Patagonian plains. Tourism expanded rapidly after the park's creation in 1937. Today, glaciers such as Perito Moreno attract visitors from around the world. Wide streets and low buildings reflect its modern frontier character. Strong winds sweep across nearby steppe landscapes year-round. Local businesses focus on guiding, hospitality, and glacier excursions. Wildlife such as flamingos and guanacos inhabit surrounding wetlands and plains. The town's name comes from a native shrub with dark blue berries. A regional legend suggests eating the berry ensures a return to Patagonia. El Calafate connects travelers to vast ice fields and open Andean horizons. It stands as a base camp between desert steppe and glacial mountains. Valle Nevado, Chile. High in the central Chilean Andes, Valle Nevado rises above Santiago. The resort sits at about 3,025 meters / 9,925 feet above sea level. Located roughly 60 kilometers / 37 miles east of the capital, it is easily accessible by mountain road. Its high elevation provides reliable snow conditions during winter months. Wide slopes accommodate beginners, intermediate skiers, and advanced athletes. Modern lifts and equipment rentals support international visitors. Panoramic views reveal snow-covered peaks stretching across the Andes. Clear days often display bright blue skies above the alpine terrain. In winter, skiing and snowboarding dominate the landscape. Heli-skiing and snowshoeing are also available under guided supervision. When snow melts, the area transforms into a summer hiking destination. The thin mountain air and strong sunlight require proper acclimatization. Nearby glaciers and rocky ridges highlight the region's volcanic origins. Valle Nevado blends alpine sport, high-altitude scenery, and Andean scale in one dynamic setting. Circuito Chico, Argentina. Near San Carlos de Bariloche, Circuito Chico traces a scenic loop through northern Patagonia. The route stretches about 60 kilometers / 37 miles along lakes and forested hills. It winds beside Nahuel Huapi Lake and Moreno Lake. Snow-capped Andean peaks rise sharply in the background. One highlight is Cerro Campanario, offering panoramic views from around 1,050 meters / 3,445 feet. A chairlift carries visitors to the summit viewpoint. Dense forests of quaihu and lenga trees line much of the road. Small beaches and quiet coves provide calm resting spots. Historic alpine-style buildings reflect European influence in the region. The area supports hiking, cycling, and short nature walks. Clear mornings create mirror-like reflections across the lakes. Weather can shift quickly, bringing sun, mist, or light rain. Wildlife such as condors and foxes inhabit the surrounding landscape. Circuito Chico showcases the lakes, forests, and mountain views that define the northern Andes of Patagonia. Petrohue, Chile. In southern Chile, Petrohue lies within Vicente Pérez Rosales National Park. It rests beside Lake Todos los Santos in the Andean Lake District. The area is best known for the Petrohue waterfalls. These cascades flow over dark volcanic rock shaped by past eruptions. The nearby Osorno volcano rises to about 2,652 meters / 8,701 feet. Glacial meltwater gives the river its clear emerald tone. Dense, temperate rainforest surrounds the falls and riverbanks. Walking trails allow visitors to view the rushing water from safe platforms. Kayaking and boat tours operate on the lake during calm weather. The region experiences frequent rain, keeping vegetation lush and vibrant. Strong currents and sudden weather shifts require caution near the river. Wildlife includes foxes, native birds, and freshwater fish species. The landscape reflects both volcanic and glacial forces shaping the Andes. Petrohue combines waterfalls, forests, and snow-capped peaks in one vivid Patagonian setting. Maras salt mines, Peru. High in Peru's Sacred Valley, the Maras salt mines cascade down a mountainside. The site sits at about 3,380 meters / 11,089 feet above sea level. More than 6,000 shallow salt pools form a striking patchwork pattern. Natural brine flows from underground springs rich in dissolved minerals. sunlight evaporates the water, leaving behind white salt crystals. Local families have harvested salt here for over 500 years. Each pool is managed individually by community members. Workers use simple tools to collect and dry the salt by hand. The surrounding cliffs and terraces frame the bright white ponds dramatically. The salt varies in color from pure white to light pink tones. Agriculture and tourism support livelihoods in nearby villages. The site reflects pre-Inca engineering adapted to mountain terrain. Clear skies enhance the contrast between salt pans and brown hillsides. Mara's salt mines demonstrate how natural resources shaped Andean life for centuries. Atuel Canyon, Argentina. In Mendoza Province, Atuel Canyon cuts through rugged Andean foothills. The canyon stretches about 60 kilometers/37 miles along the Atuel River. Cliffs descend nearly 260 meters/853 feet in certain sections. Wind and water erosion sculpted dramatic rock formations over millions of years. Natural shapes resemble figures often compared to mushrooms or animals. The canyon lies roughly 37 kilometers/23 miles from the town of San Rafael. Provincial Route 173 follows the river, offering scenic viewpoints along the way. The turquoise Atuel River flows calmly between steep, colorful walls. Hydroelectric dams in the area contribute to regional energy supply. The surrounding landscape transitions from vineyards to arid highland terrain. Rafting and kayaking are popular during suitable water conditions. Clear desert skies highlight the canyon's red and ochre rock layers. Sparse vegetation clings to slopes shaped by ancient geological forces. Atuel Canyon blends river erosion, mountain backdrop, and wide Patagonian horizons in one striking Andean setting. Mindo, Ecuador. In the foothills of the Ecuadorian Andes, Mindo rests within lush cloud forest. The town lies at about 1,250 meters/4,101 feet above sea level. forms part of the Mindo-Nambillo Cloud Forest Reserve. The region is known for exceptional biodiversity and bird life. More than 500 bird species have been recorded in the surrounding forests. Orchids, butterflies, and rare amphibians thrive in the humid climate. Frequent mist creates a cool, green landscape year-round. Waterfalls and rivers provide natural routes for hiking and exploration. Adventure activities include ziplining and river tubing under guided supervision. Small chocolate farms produce artisanal cacao products. Eco-lodges and family-run guest houses support sustainable tourism. Conservation efforts aim to protect fragile forest ecosystems. The nearby Andes influence rainfall and temperature patterns. Mindo offers a lower-altitude Andean experience defined by forest, wildlife, and flowing water. El Chaltén, Argentina. In southern Patagonia, El Chaltén rests at the base of the Andes. The village lies at about 405 meters (1,329 feet) above sea level. It was officially founded in 1985 near the Argentina-Chile border. Today, it is widely known as Argentina's trekking capital. The town sits within Los Glaciares National Park. Mount Fitzroy rises dramatically above the surrounding landscape. The name Chaltén means smoking mountain, referring to cloud-covered peaks. Glacial rivers and alpine lakes surround the settlement. Well-marked trails begin directly from the village center. Popular routes lead to Laguna de los Tres and Laguna Capri. Weather shifts rapidly, bringing strong winds and sudden rain. Small lodges, campsites, and guide services support outdoor tourism. Wildlife such as condors and guanacos inhabit nearby valleys. El Chaltén blends frontier character with direct access to Andean wilderness. Mendoza, Argentina. At the foothills of the Andes, Mendoza stands as a major city in western Argentina. It lies at about 746 meters/2,447 feet above sea level near the Chilean border. Founded in 1561, it developed as a key trading point between regions. A powerful earthquake in 1861 reshaped the city's layout and architecture. Wide avenues and leafy plazas define its modern urban design. Mendoza is internationally known for Malbec wine production. High-altitude vineyards benefit from warm days and cool Andean nights. Irrigation channels carry snowmelt water from the mountains to farmland. The Andes dominate the skyline to the west of the city. Aconcagua, the highest peak in the Americas at 6,961 meters/22,838 feet, rises nearby. Wine tourism, agriculture and outdoor adventure drive much of the local economy. Ski resorts and trekking routes lie within short driving distance. Clear skies and dry climate characterize much of the year. Mendoza blends urban life, vineyard landscapes, and Andean proximity in one distinctive region. Córdoba, Argentina. In central Argentina, Córdoba lies between the Andes foothills and the Pampas plains. The city stands at about 390 meters/1,279 feet above sea level. Founded in 1573, it became an important colonial center. Its location linked trade routes between the highlands and eastern territories. Córdoba is home to one of South America's oldest universities, established in 1613. Historic buildings reflect Spanish colonial architecture and early urban planning. The nearby Sierras de Córdoba mountains shape the region's landscape and climate. These ranges rise to over 2,790 meters/9,154 feet at Cerro Champaquí. The city's economy includes automotive manufacturing and technology industries. Parks, plazas, and riverbanks provide green space within the urban center. Seasonal festivals highlight music, art, and regional culture. short drives lead to mountain villages and scenic highland routes. Clear summer skies contrast with cool winters influenced by nearby elevations. Córdoba blends colonial history, modern industry, and Andean foothill scenery in one dynamic region. Pucón, Chile. At the foot of Villarrica volcano, Pucón rests beside a clear Andean lake. The town lies at about 230 meters (755 feet) above sea level in southern Chile. Lake Villarrica stretches along its shoreline with dark blue waters. The active Villarrica volcano rises to 2,847 meters (9,341 feet) above the landscape. Pucón developed in the early 20th century as a mountain retreat. Today, it is known as one of Chile's main adventure destinations. Hiking routes lead into Villarrica National Park's forests and lava fields. Whitewater rafting takes place on nearby Trancura River. Thermal springs in the region offer mineral-rich geothermal waters. The surrounding forests include native Araucaria and coihue trees. Summer brings warm days suitable for kayaking and trekking. Winter attracts visitors for skiing on volcanic slopes. Local markets feature traditional crafts and regional cuisine. Pucón blends lake scenery, volcanic energy, and outdoor activity in one vibrant Andean setting. Bariloche, Argentina. In northern Patagonia, Bariloche sits along the shores of Nahuel Huapi Lake. The city lies at about 893 meters (2,930 feet) above sea level. Snow-capped Andean peaks rise sharply behind its alpine skyline. Founded in 1902, it grew as a gateway to mountain landscapes. Swiss-inspired architecture reflects European settlement in the region. The surrounding Nahuel Huapi National Park protects forests, lakes, and wildlife. CERRO Cathedral Ski Resort operates nearby during winter months. In summer, hiking and boating become the main outdoor activities. Clear mornings reveal bright reflections of mountains across the lake. Dense forests of lenga and koihu trees frame the city's edges. Chocolate production became a local specialty over the past century. Tourism drives much of the regional economy year-round. Weather shifts quickly between sun, wind, and passing rain. Bariloche combines alpine charm, glacial lakes, and Andean adventure in one iconic setting. Baños, Ecuador. At the edge of the Andes, Baños rests beneath the slopes of Tungurahua volcano. The town lies at about 1,820 meters / 5,971 feet above sea level. It is often called the gateway between the highlands and the Amazon basin. Waterfalls cascade down surrounding cliffs fed by mountain rivers. The famous Pylon del Diablo stands a short distance from town. Tungurahua volcano rises to 5,023 meters / 16,480 feet above the landscape. Geothermal springs in the area create natural thermal pools. These mineral-rich waters attract visitors seeking relaxation after trekking. Baños developed in the early 20th century as a regional travel stop. Adventure activities include rafting, canyoning, and ziplining. Lush vegetation grows due to frequent rainfall from Andean cloud systems. Small markets display local crafts and traditional sweets. Clear evenings sometimes reveal the volcano's silhouette against the sky. Baños blends waterfalls, volcanic energy, and mountain culture in one dynamic Andean setting. Quito, Ecuador. High in the northern Andes, Quito stretches across a long mountain valley. The city lies at about 2,850 meters / 9,350 feet above sea level. It is one of the highest capital cities in the world. Volcanic peaks such as Pichincha rise sharply above the urban skyline. The area was incorporated into the Inca Empire in the 15th century. Spanish forces founded the colonial city in 1534. Its historic center is among the best preserved in South America. UNESCO recognized it as a World Heritage Site in 1978. Narrow streets and plazas reflect 16th and 17th century urban design. Modern districts extend along the valley with expanding infrastructure. Cable car access to nearby slopes offers wide panoramic views. Cool temperatures and strong sunlight define daily life at altitude. Agriculture in surrounding valleys benefits from volcanic soil. Quito blends high-altitude geography, colonial history, and modern capital life in one Andean setting. Salta, Argentina. In northwest Argentina, Salta rests at the foothills of the Andes. The city lies at about 1,152 meters / 3,780 feet above sea level. Founded in 1582, it became an important colonial trade center. Its location linked highland routes with lowland valleys. Spanish-era architecture still defines much of the historic center. Wide plazas and arcaded buildings reflect 17th and 18th century design. The surrounding landscape features red rock formations and fertile valleys. Nearby Andean ranges influence the region's climate and agriculture. Wine production and tourism support the local economy. Salta played a significant role during Argentina's independence movement in the early 19th century. Cable car access to Cerro San Bernardo provides panoramic city views. Seasonal festivals celebrate regional music, crafts, and cuisine. Clear skies highlight the contrast between mountains and colonial streets. Salta combines Andean geography, history, and living culture in one distinctive highland city. Pichincha, Ecuador. Overlooking Quito, Pichincha rises as one of Ecuador's most prominent Andean volcanoes. The massif reaches about 4,784 meters/15,696 feet at its highest peak, Guagua Pichincha. It forms part of the active volcanic chain along the Andes. Eruptions have been recorded throughout history, including activity in 1999. Ash from past eruptions has reached parts of Quito below. The volcano features two main peaks, Guagua Pichincha and Rucu Pichincha. A cable car from Quito climbs to about 3,945 meters/12,943 feet. From there, hiking trails lead toward the higher slopes. Thin air and shifting weather require careful preparation. The slopes support Andean grasslands and hardy mountain plants. Clear days reveal sweeping views across Quito's long valley. The volcano also marks the site of a key independence battle in 1822. Today, it is closely monitored for seismic and gas activity. Pichincha reflects both geological power and historical depth within the Ecuadorian Andes. Cuenca, Ecuador. In southern Ecuador, Cuenca lies within a fertile Andean valley. The city stands at about 2,560 meters/8,399 feet above sea level. Founded in 1557, it developed on earlier indigenous settlements. Its historic center is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cobblestone streets and colonial buildings define the urban landscape. 4 rivers flow through the city, shaping parks and promenades. The surrounding Andes influence its mild, spring-like climate. Traditional Panama hats are crafted here despite the name. Artisans continue weaving ceramics and silverwork using regional techniques. Agriculture in nearby valleys supports local markets with fresh produce. Modern districts expand alongside preserved historic quarters. Nearby national parks protect high-altitude ecosystems and cloud forests. Cuenca balances colonial heritage, Andean geography, and contemporary life. It stands as one of Ecuador's most culturally rich highland cities. Ibarra, Ecuador. In northern Ecuador, Ibarra lies between Andean foothills and fertile valleys. The city stands at about 2,225 meters / 7,300 feet above sea level. Founded in 1606, it became a colonial settlement along regional trade routes. A major earthquake in 1868 destroyed much of the original city. It was later rebuilt with wider streets and whitewashed buildings. This reconstruction gave Ibarra the nickname White City. The surrounding region supports agriculture, especially corn and livestock. Nearby Imbabura volcano rises to 4,630 meters / 15,190 feet above the landscape. Lakes and rolling hills shape the wider Andean scenery. Traditional markets reflect the influence of indigenous Otavalo communities. Handcrafted textiles and music remain important cultural elements. Tourism and local commerce contribute to the modern economy. Clear mornings reveal layered mountains under bright highland skies. Ibarra blends resilience, colonial heritage, and Andean geography in one northern highland setting. Santiago, Chile. At the foot of the central Andes, Santiago spreads across a wide valley. The city lies at about 520 meters / 1,706 feet above sea level. Founded in 1541 by Pedro de Valdivia, it became Chile's colonial capital. The Mapocho River flows through the urban center. Snow-capped Andean peaks rise sharply along the eastern skyline. Cerro San Cristobal offers panoramic views from about 880 meters / 2,887 feet. Earthquakes have shaped the city's architecture and infrastructure planning. Modern high-rises stand beside preserved colonial-era buildings. The surrounding Maipo Valley supports vineyards and agriculture. Winter snow falls on nearby ski resorts just outside the city. Santiago functions as Chile's political, economic, and cultural center. Parks and tree-lined avenues soften the dense urban landscape. Clear days reveal dramatic contrast between city and mountains. Santiago blends metropolitan energy with constant Andean presence in one dynamic capital setting. Cuzco, Peru. High in the Peruvian Andes, Cuzco rests within a fertile mountain valley. The city lies at about 3,399 meters (11,152 feet) above sea level. It served as the capital of the Inca Empire in the 15th century. The original urban layout reflected a symbolic puma shape. Stone foundations from Inca palaces remain visible beneath colonial buildings. Spanish forces restructured the city after 1533, blending architectural styles. Terraces and irrigation systems supported agriculture in surrounding hills. Cuzco's historic center was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. Narrow cobbled streets connect plazas, markets, and cultural landmarks. Local communities preserve traditional weaving and Andean music. The nearby Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu draw global visitors. Thin mountain air requires gradual acclimatization for newcomers. Tourism, crafts, and agriculture drive much of the regional economy. Cuzco unites imperial history, living culture, and high-altitude geography in one enduring Andean city. Ayacucho, Peru. In south-central Peru, Ayacucho rests among the rugged Andes highlands. The city lies at about 2,761 meters (9,058 feet) above sea level. It was founded in 1540 during the Spanish colonial period. The region played a decisive role in Peru's independence in 1824. The Battle of Ayacucho marked a turning point in South American history. Colonial-era buildings and wide plazas define the city center. Surrounding hills and valleys create a layered Andean landscape. Traditional weaving and pottery remain important cultural crafts. Agriculture in nearby valleys supports local markets and rural communities. The Wari archaeological site lies outside the city, reflecting pre-Inca civilization. Seasonal festivals highlight regional music, dance, and cuisine. Clear mornings reveal bright skies above mountain ridges. Tourism and artisan industries contribute to the local economy. Ayacucho blends independence history, colonial heritage, and Andean scenery in one distinctive highland setting. Otavalo, Ecuador. In northern Ecuador, Otavalo lies within the Andean highlands of Imbabura province. The town stands at about 2,532 meters / 8,307 feet above sea level. It is surrounded by volcanic peaks such as Imbabura at 4,630 meters / 15,190 feet. Laguna Quicocha rests nearby inside a volcanic crater basin. Otavalo is widely known for one of South America's largest indigenous markets. Plaza de los Ponchos fills with hand-woven textiles, jewelry, and crafts. Local artisans preserve traditional weaving techniques passed down for generations. Music plays a strong role in community life and cultural identity. Agriculture in surrounding valleys supports corn, beans, and quinoa production. Cool mountain temperatures define daily life at altitude. Tourism provides income while cultural traditions remain central to identity. Clear skies reveal layered Andean ridges stretching across the horizon. Otavalo blends highland scenery, living traditions, and vibrant local markets in one authentic Andean town. Across the Andes, we traveled from glaciers and volcanoes to valleys shaped by ancient hands. We explored lakes formed by ice, deserts carved by wind, and cities rising beneath snow-capped peaks. From Patagonia to Ecuador, elevation changed the climate, the culture, and the rhythm of life. The Andes are not a single landscape, but a chain of powerful contrasts. And wherever your next journey takes you, may it be full of wonder. If this journey across the Andes inspired you, please like and subscribe. It is completely free, yet it supports meaningful storytelling more than you may realize. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next?